Hello, my name is Jeffrey Linstead, and today I'll be discussing eChecks um, and their efficiency on the internet today, as well as their use with ACH transfers and the whole entire concept behind an ACH transfer. Moving on from there, we're going to be discussing into the advantages and disadvantages, as well as the future potential that eChecks have to offer. Um, Moving on from there, we have what is an e-check? An e-check, also known as an online check or direct debit, as some people refer to, is a digital version of a paper check. You could assume that, and some people may argue that wiring is also a digital version of an online check. However, we're going to go into more detail regarding that, discussing how an e-check is different and more efficient than wiring and the way that it's done. This type of check uses ACH, which we'll discuss more as well. Use it in ACH to a direct debit into a merchant's business account. So this is primarily used for big businesses such as banks. Um, big businesses such as restaurants or big grocery stores or local online businesses that require subscriptions as well. But for the most part, it will be used most efficiently with a business and not for day-to-day transaction with people. What is an ACH transfer? ACH stands for automatic clearinghouse. An automatic clearinghouse is a computer-based electronic network for processing transactions between participating financial institutions. So an ACH is essentially an electronic middleman that is efficient for businesses in today's world because it makes the process have a lot less paperwork and become more efficient. ACHs began a little over 20 years ago as whenever the first concepts of them were invented. However, they're still progressing today, and they have progressed tenfold since their initial launch. So next, going into eChecks, how an eCheck is sent. It starts out with an originator, which is usually a person that is going to pay a company or a company is going to pay a person, and they must obtain their account and routing number as well as their email address on certain occasions. After that, they will submit how much money they want to send to them and can even do a subscription process. And the AHC provider will be able to provide this and process this information and verify that you can actually do this and pay this off, this transaction that you're committing to, without um, without having a bank or an actual person coming to have to come and look at it. Once the ACH operator sorts the fund request, they will settle the funds into the business's bank, and the customer's bank will just finalize and make sure that the funds are received legitimately and correctly. So going to ACHs versus wire transfers, which a lot of people think sound similar, considering that you do have to do the wiring parts of the wiring, which is the accounting and routing number, and then you send it to someone. However, the differences is that an ACH actually is entirely automated, except for potentially the first or last step of the process. It occurs in batches, so several people submit ACHs to a company, and typically daily that they'll on business days they will process all of these ACHs at once through their technology, and it will occur several checks at a time, and it can take 1 to several days to complete. So in this situation, the middleman would be the clearinghouse, and this is what gives ACHs and eChecks an advantage over wire transfers. Wire transfers, on the other hand, are guided by a blank bank employee or a person that's actually there working from directly moving the money over themselves. They move it over from one account to the other, and it happens immediately. However, it is only during business hours, and the middleman is the banker that is wiring this money over. So going into the advantages and disadvantages of an e-check. There are several advantages to an e-check, especially with small businesses and online businesses in today's world. Some of the ones that I've listed here are convenient and paperwork free. There is paperwork that you can gather that the ACH holds onto for you. However, there is no paperwork that you have to sign in the moment, except for maybe a agreement whenever you're or a verification that you agree to the terms and conditions. It's more secure. E-checks are 100% more secure than actual checks are. Actual checks can get lost in the mail. They're risky to walk around with, and they're a thing of the past at this point. Technology has really progressed and moved on and made online transactions so easy and efficient that there's no reason that you should prefer a actual check rather than an e-check unless you're going through your own trusts and you don't want to have a third party come and interfere with your check being moved over. Um, Another advantage that e-checks have that is going to come in handy for a lot of businesses in the world is that it can have reoccurring bills. So subscription programs that are becoming popular today, such as a Bass Pro mystery box that gets sent to your door every month. The bills can be automatically reoccurred through through their contracts that they sign, and then they can just sign up for an e-check and it'll take money out of their account every month. The next one is low fees. E-checks actually get all the way down to 10 cents per transaction, which is one of the lowest fees out of anything you can find. Definitely lower than Venmo, definitely lower than PayPal and all its other competitors when it comes to sending money directly, especially whenever it comes to doing it in a bank. And then also what a lot of mobile technology has today and e-checks have to offer as well is that you can pay from anywhere at any time. This is a big advantage because you're able to see how much money, or you're able to send your money whenever you need to, and it's very efficient for a user to be able to send, especially internationally based, to be able to send money to somebody else at any time of the day. Um, some disadvantages, however, is there are alternatives that are faster than e-checks. E-checks tend to take 1 to 3 days. However, there are some alternatives that are not necessarily for the same rate for large transactions. However, with smaller transactions, that can be immediate and you don't have any delay within the bank. However, in the business world, this has not been fully achieved yet. Technology is getting very close to being able to have instantaneous e-checks. Um, Less familiar customers. So this can be a process for your customer whenever they try and sign up for e-checks because they're not familiar with the whole concept of an e-check and how effective it is and what its efficiency does. Also, whenever you have a customer and you sell them a product, it's difficult to get them to sign up for a separate payment process. However, this is going to be e-checks will hopefully be a thing in the future and make this be efficient and more recognized than it is today. And going on the next slide, the future of eChecks. So an ACH transfer payments are growing in popularity. According to the National Automated Clearing Association, Q1 of 2019, ACH network volume grew by 5.8%, and then a total of 6% of volume in or it grew 5.8% over Q1 in 2018, and grew a total of 6% volume in Q1 2019. So this shows that there's upcoming growth and it's a promising thing in the future. It's becoming more popular as online stores and industries are becoming more popular as well. The next future thing we have is that e-checks are developed and its technology is being processed and payments are being larger and faster and more efficient as each year goes on. This is likely the reason for this growth that we saw in the statistic above because the payment makes it much easier to go on. To grow, and it makes it much faster, and the efficiency of the technology will directly correlate with the future of the e-checks. Finally, we have the subscription and online-based businesses have begun to trend towards this payment. Subscription-based businesses, of course, have trended to this payment because e-checks are the most efficient way to have a subscription-based program. It'll automatically do it for you on the same day each month, and you can even change the day that you need to use. And then online-based businesses also, as e-checks are becoming more popular around the business world, online-based businesses are able to bring out the commonality of e-checks and are able to make it be just as normal as a check in today's world. That concludes my presentation for today, and I appreciate y'all taking the time to hear me out and talk about it. And I hope in the future you can say that you've learned a thing or two about eChecks. Thank you.